Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scotty D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time once again for your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. Out of all the podcasts I do, I really look forward to this time of the week because I get to hang out with my bros. We get to talk about sports. I thought I lost my wallet today. I've been slightly under the weather. It's been a whole lot going on, but nevertheless, I am here. Feel my presence, hear me roar, and all that dumb stuff, all right? So with that being said, I'm Eddy Cool. That's enough of my incoherent rambling. Not only do I have two, but I also have three of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I got a question, though. Eddy Cool, during your incoherent rambling, you said that you were under the weather.
Yeah.
Technically, aren't we all under the weather?
It's
like
a figure
of
speech. It's a figure of speech. Wow. See, you're doing that Scotty D mess. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. So Scotty D. So here's what we do, listeners. So Scotty D starts with B-Live. Then B-Live decides he wants to start with me. Hopefully, he doesn't run our guest off. All right, which we'll get to in just a minute.
Our guest is always welcome on the show. I'm trying to run off that old one that you about to introduce, that other guy. I've been trying to run him off for the younger version this entire time. Eventually, it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get him into early retirement. Oh, my bad. Did I say that out loud? All right,
boy,
cool.
Here we go.
He started with me. I came in just chilling. He about to say something about my background because I didn't really set up everything behind me today. I'm okay. But go ahead, bring in the other guy. Let's go ahead and see what he's got to say and sing or whatever. Because he's about to sing off key as well.
Once again, yeah. B-Live is live on locations at the Shared Studios in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And speaking of the other guy, he is the meanest, roughest, toughest, thuggish, ruggish custodial personnel there is in all of the Trinity School District. He is the one, the only, the pain in B-Live's ass, the money man, Scotty D.
All we are saying is give peace a chance. Rough weekend. We need some peace. B-Live, that means even between you and me. And just because it looks like you're on cloud nine today, literally looks like you're on cloud nine.
All I did was blur my background because I don't have a green screen behind me. My bad, but the green screen is in front of me. I didn't feel like making a bunch of moves. Is that okay, sir?
You look good. You look like you should be with Carl Weathers from Happy Gilmore at the end of the movie.
Wow.
Oh boy, here we go.
All these interviews that you see on TV, and none of them take the time. They be sitting in their office and everything. I'm sitting in my office right now. Is that okay? Is that all right? Is that okay with you?
You kind of look like Darth Vader at the end of the movie.
Can you please
this. All lit up. You look good. You look like you're coming to us live from heaven. Wow.
Oh boy, here we go.
All we are saying is give peace a chance.
Well, I want this in 1080p. I would like right here, all of this. Like, you know.
We'll put the Sports Bros Podcast logo there, or my face going like that. But anyways, introducing our third co-host. He'll be joining us for the entire episode, if that's okay with him. Too late, he's doing it anyway. He is our baseball guy, our Peter Gammons, our Buster Olney, our the other baseball guy's name I totally forgot. He is Hunter Simboli. He's joining us this week. How you doing, Hunter?
I'm doing great. It's nice to join you guys once again. Happy to be here. Happy to talk some sports with you guys. And I just wanted to say, B-Live, your background looks, as Bobby Roode would say, glorious. I'm just gonna say that. You gotta
Glorious.
have
Yes. Yes, it does.
No, it's great to be here. Great to talk with you guys. I'm ready to go. I'm ready.
Am I getting picked on both versions, the before and the after white guy that's on
No,
that show?
listen,
We're not picking on you. You look great. You look lit up, like excited and high. Like,
and I made the connection between you and one of the greatest of all time, that is Bobby/Robert Roode. So that's not picking on you. That's good.
See,
man, that's glorious.
Okay, all right, whatever y'all say.
Or he could easily be like Wade Barrett. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Where is Bobby Roode at? Is he like producing somewhere? Is he even in the wrestling industry, TNA or something?
I think he's still with WWE, but more like a behind the scenes role.
I think he's like ring retired, kind of like Big E.
Gotcha. I could use that entrance one more time, but that's okay. That's all right. I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate the sentiment. All right, I'm in a better mood now.
Yep.
There you go.
That's why I like Hunter on the show, because Scotty D would bring me down. Hunter brought me back up.
Oh,
all right, cool.
Boy, you bring me up and you bring me down. I hope nobody sues us because we ain't got no damn money. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order.
All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order.
Gentlemen, we have some happenings going on the USA basketball front kind of things. A snub, if you will. Jaylen Brown is like, why'd y'all leave me off? Now, there's various reasons why he got left off and the issues that he has with it. Some say selection process. Some say that you look at guys like Devin Booker and whatever the hell he's accomplished for him to have a spot on there, as opposed to, Jaylen Brown, who's a world champion. And if you want my opinion, one of the top 5 players in the league. Yeah, there it is. I said it. So with that being said, we're going to start with you, Hunter. Hunter, why do you think that Jaylen Brown was left off of Team USA, or snubbed, if you will?
It's kind of interesting that that's being brought up when we're talking about snubs, because it happens all throughout sports. But in my opinion, if Tatum's there, I feel like you have to have Jaylen Brown there. I feel like that they go hand in hand, because I do believe that they're equally skilled. I didn't see Tatum winning any type of finals MVP this year. I didn't see that with the conference either. So I think it just speaks for itself. I know that Jaylen Brown does have some issues with the whole Kyrie Irving thing in Nike. I think that could kind of lend in. It could just be controversy as well, like in the back. But other than that, I don't see why he wouldn't be in there over somebody like a Devin Booker or a Tyrese Halliburton. I get that Halliburton's younger, but if you're looking at accolades, I don't really see how a 5-6 seed in Phoenix with Devin Booker's in there versus Jaylen Brown. But it's just me. Not 100% sure on that front. Could be a bunch of different things.
You're right. Be live. What say you?
Just do it. Of course, this is mired in controversy when it comes to Nike. Like, Jaylen Brown was the finals MVP. Like, Jaylen Brown is bigger. He's more efficient scorer, one of the best two-way players in the game, and you pick Derek White. Like, there's no way you could tell me on a basketball setup that Derek White fit the team better than Jaylen Brown. Somebody please come up with that for me. I'm over here trying to search any type of stat, rebounds, assists, points, defensive efficiency, over, under, plus, minus, who did it, and their mama and their cousin too. And there's nothing on a basketball standpoint that puts Derek White better than Jaylen Brown. I would love it. I would really love it more than anything in this world that we live in. I may be doing Bobby's might be stirring up some controversy. Stop treating the general public like we're absolute idiots. Like, could you please call a spade a spade? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know why they don't, because they can get away with it. This is mired in Nike controversy. Nike is the title sponsor of the USA basketball. They wear Nike, so blah, 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 yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. Come on. You remember a couple episodes before where I was talking about how Caitlin Clark not being picked for the Olympic team? It was based on merit, and it was based on putting the best team out there. Mm-hmm. And then USA basketball turns around and does this mess and makes me look like a complete idiot on the show that we do. Scotty D, I don't even want to hear it. I did not bring up Caitlin Clark for you to dig up an old argument that we had that I was completely right about. USA basketball, Nike, come on, bruh. Stop this. I wish they would just, but this is the world that we live in. People believe a headline, people believe whatever they want to believe. And so there's people out there that actually believe that Derek White is a better pick than Jaylen Brown. I would love to meet these people so I could tell them how wrong they are. Because just somebody show me on a basketball standpoint how.
B-Live, are you coming to us from inside of a light bulb?
Scotty D, what say you?
So literally, Jaylen Brown is like the hottest player in the last available basketball we had to watch. He was the hottest player in the league, and he's going to now be looked as the fourth best on his own team. I don't like it. I think he has every right to be mad. And is that a personal thing with Grant Hill? Maybe is it he just doesn't like his style? I mean, is Grant Hill get the final say? I mean, I know he's like the bigwig in that situation. I don't know. I can't believe that he's not in the 12 or 13 best in the NBA, and Derek White, Americans, I should say, and Derek White is. I think that's a kind of a slap in the face to Jaylen Brown. But it's going to be interesting to me. How does this affect the dynamic of the Celtics when they get back next year? Like, all of a sudden, the guy who is the guy getting the extra trophy at the end of the year, he doesn't get to go on the field trip with the other guys. It's like he got excluded from the popular kids kind of thing. It's weird that they went with that dynamic, that they went with three Celtics and he's not one of them. I think it's going to be interesting to see if that creates some type of tension, because it actually is putting a little bit of tension on the other guys in a sense that their teammate who won the MVP is now excluded. And interestingly enough, Team USA had their first game against Australia on Monday and barely won that thing. They won 98-92. And Anthony Davis was the stud of that game. He was 17 points, 14 rebounds. So if they trip up and lose one of these early games and stumble, that move will be second guessed, I'm sure.
It will be. It's already getting second guessed now. As we said, we've seen one of the best players play in the final series of the season. And for him not to be on the USA Olympic basketball team, in the words of B-Live, is a Travisham mockery. Nothing against Derek White. Nothing against Derek White, none whatsoever.
None whatsoever. I mean, and I want to make it perfectly clear that this is not a dig at Derek White at all. He was definitely a key piece to the Boston Celtics winning the NBA Finals. On top of that, I would almost be hard pressed to keep Derek White on the team, keep bring Jaylen. I don't know.
Yeah, out of all of them, he would have been my first pick of the Celtics.
First,
right?
I mean, he was better than Tatum by a lot in the finals. He's more skilled offensively than Drew Holiday, and I understand you're trying to build overall, and you need a good defensive player in there. And Holiday's a good, well-rounded guy with experience in this format. But I think he's the best of the four right now.
Yeah, like I said, I feel that Jaylen Brown is top 5 in the league, and he's really shown us over these last handful of years, like, hey, he ain't nothing to be taken lightly. And so, but then again, who knows, man? Who really knows? Who really knows? Like we'll never know the answer. This will be like the whole Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. Why Isaiah Thomas didn't make the team because Michael Jordan was like no, and a lot of snubs of the past. Like we'll never know. But I think if you want to put your best out there, I look at it like this. You remember a while back we had a conversation about the under 20 tackle football team, the USA football team, and them not putting none of their best out there. And they just like pretty much just getting guys that's fresh out of high school and some D3 guys and making the most of it. Like, what do you want to do? You want to put your best out there, or you just want to just put somebody out there and have a showing? If I'm the head of USA basketball, I'm looking at, the top 12, 15 players in the league, 1 through 15, and then everybody else. If you want a shot, bring your butt to practice. Bring your butt to practice, bring your butt to tryouts, and you'll be an alternate or something like that. But there's no reason why Jaylen Brown should not be on that team. There's no reason, none.
Like I'm looking at this roster, and this is a star-studded roster, and this is pretty much when it comes to the best American players, and then Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
You got to throw the asterisks in there. I mean, I guess he's got dual citizenship or whatever.
He just wanted to win something. That's all.
It's like one of these things is not like the other, and Derek White is just again not taking away anything from Derek White, but it's just I'm looking at this roster, and I'm just like I can name so many people that would fill this roster better than Derek White. And top of that list is Jaylen Brown. And I don't know. Hopefully they'll right this wrong 4 years from now, and Jaylen Brown will be like the premier athlete. Got to get rid of some old weight because there won't be Steph Curry won't be there. Kevin Durant, I don't think he's going to be there. LeBron James, just hopefully he won't be there.
Bronny will.
I knew you was going. I knew you was about to. I knew. See, I tried to catch you before you said it. No,
you put it on a tee for me and put the driver in my hand.
Man, I was like, I ain't put no driver in your hand. You stay with that driver in your hand. I didn't put it there. I may have put the ball on the tee and then didn't move out of the way fast enough. All right, cool.
Eli, are you even here? Or are you in one of my dream sequences?
Shut up.
I'll tell you what, if you do look at that roster, Derek White beats every single one of those players in one category. He has the best teeth, at least now. Before, he didn't have the teeth anymore. Now he does. So he's got that going for him, at least.
Yeah, didn't he get that one of his teeth got chipped during the game or something like that? That's what he got.
It was bad. It was bad.
Oh, and then I mean, let me see. Let me look at the. Okay, I mean he's bald headed, so he's got a better hairline than Kevin Durant. So we got that going. Let's see what else we got going on. Did not know that Bam Adebayo is from the Triad region here in North Carolina. He's from High Point, North Carolina. That's about an hour and a half away from Fayetteville. So did not know that. Do you think, big time?
Wow, do your thing, big time. All right, that wraps it up about the whole Jaylen Brown situation. So hopefully they'll get it right next year. As we know right now, it is the All-Star break. And by the time you listen to this episode, we already know who won the home run derby. We don't know, but you'll know. But with that being said, going into the second half of the season, there's a lot going on. We got some players trending up, trending down, some teams trending up, trending down. We haven't had any managers firing yet. So, fellas, with that being said, going into the second half of the season, what are we looking the most forward to? And I'll go ahead and go first, and I hope I don't step on anybody's toes. Be Live, you know how I feel about the Braves. And I'm wondering, can the Braves keep up the momentum now that Ronald Acuna Jr. is done for the season? Because we all know what happened last time he got hurt. They went ahead and won the doggone World Series. So I'm just hoping that what can they keep up that momentum? Can the pitching stay hot? Can the bat stay hot? I mean, throughout the season, there's a they get hot, they get cold, they get hot again, they get cold again. The pitching got to build the batting out, the batting got to build the pitching out, so forth and so such. So that's one of my biggest concerns. Can the Atlanta Braves keep the momentum going? Be live. What say you?
I'm gonna say this. I mean, I'd be a homer when I would mention the Atlanta Braves and where they stand right now. The Phillies are red hot. They're the best team in baseball. Atlanta, if you could it's one of those things where I just want Atlanta just to stay like status quo.
Okay.
I don't really need them to do a big run. I don't need them to overwork their pitching because that's something that we're lacking like that. We're lacking that third and fourth starter. I mean, Chris Sale is doing amazing things for us, and I appreciate him. Don't overuse him because as much as it's 162 game regular season is important, off the postseason is where it's all at. And that's where hopefully at some point in time we figure out our bats, we figure out our pitching. Let me throw this out here real quick. Where in the heck did the Houston Astros come from? We wrote them off for dead at the beginning of the season, and now they're one game out of the say who?
I said I picked them to win the division.
Well, so I wrote them completely off. They were at the bottom of the division earlier in the season, and now they're only one game back of the Mariners. Now they still have some work to do to make it into. They got a better chance of winning the division as opposed to winning the wild card because as it sits right now, they're do some quick mathematicals. They're like 2.5 games behind the Red Sox for the final wild card. That's what it looks like. 2.5.
Yeah, it's jammed up. They're behind the Royals, Twins,
3.5. Yep.
Yeah.
Entire American League wild card picture is going to be nuts.
Oh yeah, it's going to be insanity. But yeah, the Houston Astros said that y'all don't forgot about us. We still here and we're still banging on trash cans. Yes, sir.
Still banging on trash cans. You hilarious. That's hilarious. Yep, Scotty D, what say you?
Go ahead, Hunter. I'll defer to Hunter here.
Okay. Oh, you want to go last?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll go. It's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I just enjoy the second half of the season way more than the first because if you look at everything and you see everything, the trade deadline's right there, and then after that, it's either do or die, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think this trade deadline is going to be so important for some teams, whether if it's building off of this year and to keep pushing forward. And then it's going to be big for those teams that they're kind of in the middle of either rebuilding or trying to make their team better.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the most interesting thing with this trade deadline is the lack of starting pitching on the market.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest guys that at least that I'm thinking of right now that would be tradable are guys like Luis Severino and Jack Flaherty. I maybe there's a guy or two that I'm forgetting, but if you need starting pitching, kind of like how the Cleveland Guardians do right now, there's not a whole lot out there. Maybe Chris Bassett from the Blue Jays.
White Sox have a pretty good pitcher too.
Garrett Crochet, yeah.
Crochet, yeah.
And there's another guy there that I'm not going to get too lost in it. But my second point is I'm really excited to look and see where the American League West actually goes because that division, if you're looking at it, is wide open, especially with the Mariners, the Astros, and I'm not ready to count out the Rangers yet. I still think that if you look at the roster up to down, I still think that they have the best balance in that division. I think Houston is very interesting right now. And then like the Rangers are only 5 back and they're not getting a wild card spot. If they don't win that division, they're not in the playoffs. But I think it'll be very interesting for just those teams that are kind of in between on are we selling or are we buying? And I don't know. I think it's cool. Like even if you're Minnesota, I think they're going to try to make a very strong push. You could see Cleveland kind of fatiguing in the last 2 weeks of the season. So it'll be fun, especially like even like Baltimore and New York. That's going to be crazy going down the line. So I'm excited for all those. And the Braves. I like watching them. So
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to mention, Hunter, and that's the race between the Orioles and the Yankees, because the Yankees early in the season were way out in front of everyone without Garrett Cole even being in uniform. And then they had a horrendous month where one was like 4 games and lost 20, whatever it was. And then they showed a little bit of life, taking 2 out of 3 against the Orioles here this past weekend. And this is going to be a homer situation, but as a Pirate fan, it's going to be interesting to me to see how the Pirates handle Paul Skeens, because the Pirates are just back at 500. They are actually in a wild card mix. Will the Pirates let Skeens pitch out? You remember how the Nationals, they put Strasburg on the shelf a few years back while they were in a playoff. Will the Pirates do something similar? Because their 2 best starters, well, 2 of their 3 best starters are both rookies. And Jared Jones is on the injured list currently, but he'll be back for the stretch drive. Will the Pirates try to actually make a move and get a bat? They talk about Luis Robert and Travis Ward, I think his name is, from the Angels. There's some different things. The Pirates need bats. Actually, everybody needs pitching. The Pirates actually don't at the moment. In a 3-game series, if you're looking at Skeens, Jones, and Keller, you have a chance to win that series with the Pirates starting pitching. So I don't personally think the Pirates are going to cross the finish line in the wild card. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, because I just don't see them making a move to get a big bat. And I don't know if there's that many big bats available either that would make a difference for the Pirates. But for a team that's not been relevant for a long time, it's interesting to see if they actually how they handle their young pitching staff and that young team going forward.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what the Blue Jays do with Bo Bichette, because they sound everybody ready just to say,
he's been a bust this year, which is incredible, because this guy's batting well over 300 the last couple of years. What is going on with him?
Yeah, they sound everybody ready to part ways with him, and so that ends that whole next generation of Guerrero, Biggio, and they what's the other guy? And Bichette. So who knows?
They just drafted for fun, just because they wanted just sons on their team, and it actually worked out, especially with Vladdy.
Yeah.
So, and Bichette's nothing to sneeze at either, but this year he's just been so underwhelming.
Yeah, what is up with that team?
Yep. And with that being said, looking at my phone, because I have yet to get a watch, because I don't need one. Guess what time it is?
That's time to do something.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's time for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it. Choice of the voices coming at you right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and
ever so lovely Miss Button
for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. You know how we do it. We ask y'all a question, you give us the answer, and we talk about it right here on the Sports Bros Podcast. And Hunter is going to join us for this segment as well, too. We didn't have a lot of good traction on this one, but we're going to make the most of it. With that being said, Scotty D, what is the question for this week's choices of the voices?
Well, I knew Hunter was coming on, so this was kind of part of the discussion I want to have with him, with Hunter in mind. But with baseball season, right here, we're in the dog days of summer pretty much with baseball, right in the middle of it all. And it seems like we are inevitably going to get to the automated strike zone. That little X, or that little box they put on the screen just for fun a couple seasons ago, is now taken on a life of its own. So it seems like it's only a matter of time for that becomes official in the major leagues. And I asked, are you in favor of this, or are you old school, want to have the human element, umpires calling balls and strikes? You don't mind if they blow in a little bit here or there if they're doing it consistent both ways. But what do you want to see, the automated strike zone and the umpire behind the plate not having control of that anymore? And Eddie, cool. What did the people say?
All right, let's go ahead and hop right into it. Ron Humphreys, he says, well, you know how I feel about it. Kind of don't. But too many bad calls behind the dish that are changing the outcomes of games, which is true.
Yeah, this is a guy I worked with at Trinity, and he was directing that comment directly at me, because we were having a discussion about this also not too very long ago. But he's in favor of the next wave of going to the technology.
I don't know if you guys saw this reel. It I forgot who the teams were. I want to say it was Cincinnati and somebody else.
Texas.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I think I talked about it the other week.
Yeah.
There was like out of 5 calls, it was 3 strikes that were all in the same spot that looked like they were about a foot off the zone.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
And the dude lit him up. He like, you do this every effing time against me. Like, what is your? You know what I'm talking. Yeah, you.
Oh, that's a different one. That's J.P. Crawford.
Yeah. Oh, he was hot. I was like, yeah, he was because there was one. The first 2 were questionable. That one and that one on the outside, I can understand because if you look at the box, it barely touched the box. I'm like, oh man, it's within the parameter, so you can't really. That's kind of like the ball, breaking the plane in football. It's breaking that plane. So I mean, but some of the other 2 like, man, come on, man, what are you doing? All right, so let's go. Matty Ice Martin Tracy said, in my opinion, it's a terrible idea and will ruin the game. Every hitter has a different strike zone, and the subjective areas to each hitters are unique. I find it hard to believe that an AI can differentiate that difference enough to warrant enough removing of such an interchangeable, integrable, iconic part of the game. 50 points for the big SAT word. Damn. Part of the game. I would rather have the mistakes than remove the human aspect altogether. That poop is for video games.
Yeah, that was always something I was wondering about too, how everyone does have a different type of. I mean, everyone's body's different. There's not an exact science of putting an exact strike zone. And that's actually, I was talking about that last week about how some hitters crouch, like Ricky Henderson used to crouch. And are you measuring the crouch zone? Or are you measuring where they should be standing? I mean, that's going to be interesting to see how they go about doing that.
Shout out to Matty Ice for bringing that up because that was one of the that was one of the points, the bullet points of my answer. Mark Oles, he says, stay human, leave it like it is. Tom Wynn says, I like 2 to 3 replay challenges. If you get it right, you retain them. Quick 30-second up to the Jumbotron with the strike box. Okay, so.
I don't like that with balls and strikes.
Yeah, you playing it close. All right, MJ Markley, he says, umpires suck. I'm for automatic strike zones. Then Matty Ice bounced back. He said, can't they invent a hologram that adjusts to the players and his stance, establishing a strike zone in live time we can all see? I don't want it, but it would be fun. I'm talking about one on the field, like a hologram actually on the field, like that. I mean, hell, they made a hologram of Michael Jackson and Tupac.
Yeah. So then you have to send the batters out. Just make a hologram of them. Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel like that kind of sounds. It sounds corny,
weird.
Actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I'm trying to visualize it, and I don't know if I can.
Can they invent a hologram that adjusts to the player in a stance establishing a live time we can all see? What it sounds like is that.
You mean like it's having the automated strike zone and then make a hologram of just some generic umpire?
No, this is what it sounds like. This is gonna sound crazy, and it's gonna put Matty Ice in the penalty box for making me think this hard because I can smell my brain burning. Is he asking for, like in a live game, not something that we see on a TV screen, but where it's actually showing the lights? It's showing exactly where the strike zone should be
of the player. The hologram would be the strike zone, not the person.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the hologram, that would be so advantageous to the pitcher because the batter wouldn't be able to see it. So basically, the pitch, it sounds like he wants a hologram that the pitcher can see of where the strike zone actually is.
Yeah.
And no, I'm putting them in the penalty box for that because that gives the pitcher that much more of an advantage. They already have an advantage. Like, no. No, Matty Ice. I get what you're trying to do.
He's expanding AI, tapping into all the resources of AI.
And he just said just a second ago that is just for video games. And this is the same post that he like AI and it's a terrible idea, but he wants a hologram. I think that's the difference between when he just got off of work and hadn't had that first beverage yet and saw the question. And then later on that evening, like, oh, you know what?
Yeah, he thought about it.
It'd be a guy, we had a hologram of Michael Jackson.
Come to think about it, we can make AI beneficial. We're gonna take a box and we're gonna put it up there. And
I was like, I don't even know if Matty Ice drinks, but these answers you were sipping on something. You might have been on that but on that Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca or something. Man,
yeah.
Ooh, I had to take a second and really think about what exactly he was looking to do, and I'm like, yee.
Yeah, I didn't know either when I was listening to it. Maybe we should ask him to follow up a comment, maybe to save himself. So instead of being in the penalty box, just
too
timeout for a little bit. All right, Matty Ice, I was trying to fight for you. I'm sorry, brother.
I tried. All right,
don't do it no more.
Yeah, don't do it again. Shout out to everybody for their participation in this week's choices of the voices. With that being said, I'm gonna be a great host. And Hunter, automated strike zone. Do we need it? Hell yes, hell no, or just let them figure it out. What do you say?
Now, this might sound a little long-winded, so bear with me. If someone wants to interrupt me with a question or something, please do, because it's going to be a second. So when I think about an automated strike zone, I understand the mechanic that it could be good for the game. However, I'm going to say no. I don't think it should belong in the game, and I don't think that it's required. And I'm going to write out a scenario here, and so everyone just close their eyes or keep them open if you're really good with your imagination, and think about this for a second. So you're at a game, say whether you're 15 or 45, whatever it is. You got a hot dog in one hand and a beverage in the other. Costs you $150 for both. And you're sitting through 7 innings of a baseball game. It's 1-0. Your team's winning, your team's losing, whatever it is. And out of nowhere, the head coach of your team comes out and argues a call with the umpire. At that point, you're going to buy some popcorn, because that is one of the most entertaining things in a game, is watching your head coach fight for your team against an umpire. Is that head coach going to get thrown out? Probably. But it makes a statement. And sometimes that is the type of momentum shift that you need in a baseball game. Now, with that said, I think that takes away a gigantic portion of the entertainment. And I can sit through a couple bad calls here and there, for the trade-off being to see those managerial fights. And honestly, most of the time when a head coach does that, they're trying to fire up the team. And a lot of the time it does work. But to backtrack from one of the comments, if you want to do challenging strikes and balls, make it on a strikeout call or an inning-ending strikeout, and limit it to 2 a game. I think that might be fair, instead of just, hey, I'm going to challenge a 1-1 count in the middle of the 4th inning.
You can't do that. I like that idea, Hunter.
Yeah, I don't see a need for that, but I think having 2 a game, let it be a ending or game ending or inning ending strikeout, I could definitely see that. But long or short of it, no. I think having and the main reason being is the interactions between the umpires and head coaches. I think that's one of the best things in the game. And quite honestly, umpires, whether they're good or bad, they fuel the game a good bit. I think it's entertaining.
Let's see.
All right, Bilal, what say you?
This is controversial, because I'm all for getting the call correct the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have the technology to get it right the first time, I'm all for it. But Hunter made a very valid argument, and he has swayed my vote. He swayed my vote. I'm here for it. The interaction is absolutely like part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you can have the technology. So if it is come down to a challengeable situation, utilize that technology, but don't rely on it entirely because you will take away a significant portion of the game. Human error is part of the game. If the umpire is jacking up calls, you gotta get in his face and give him the business every now and again. If the batter hits a home run and does a little extra something on the end and run around, next time he comes up, you got to give him the business. You got to give a little ding on the like, hey, bro, you were doing too much the last time. Just don't do it no more. That's part of baseball, and that as much as like, yes, I want the call to be right. The human element of baseball is the reason why we sing every middle of the seventh inning, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. That's what, as a lot of things in the world are changing, please keep baseball as pure as possible. We've already lost basketball, the All-Star game having over 200 points.
Ugh.
We have lost basketball with there was also an article that Scotty D's really gonna love when it comes to basketball, that with the new TV deal, Luka, when he signs his next contract, is gonna be upwards of making $80 million a year. And we're about 10 years away from a basketball player making $100 million a year. We've lost basketball. We have absolutely, completely, without a shadow of a doubt, lost college football. We've lost college football. It's a shell of what it was,
and it's getting worse. It's
getting worse.
Worse.
So, if we could keep something, just a little bit of purity, I like some of the adjustments with the pitch clock and everything like that to make the game a little bit faster, make it a little bit. Let's get to it. Thank you for a little bit for that, but let's.
We've already lost the purity of baseball with the pitch clock. I mean, it's an untimed sporting event that now has a clock on it, and and admittedly, I've crossed over. I think it's for the better, and I didn't feel that way before, and I didn't like the runner on second, the ghost run or whatever they call it next.
Oh yeah,
innings.
that's terrible. That's terrible.
I mean. I'm not a huge fan of that, but it has also helped, get to the conclusion of games quicker. It does make the 10th inning a little bit more exciting rather than sitting through another scoreless 3-4 innings before somebody happens to scratch one home. So I was very adamant against this strike zone thing. I even down in Waynesburg, I had an on-screen argument with on one of our shows down there with a kid I called the bow tie, my friend Logan Arblaster. That was the episode that we had this argument over. And
listen here, bow tie.
Yeah, he had a lot of data supporting the fact that too many balls were being called out of the strike zone. And so at this point, if you're going to have the exact science of it, if they figure out a way to have an exact strike zone for each batter, a personal strike zone that is correct, we're going to have to make sure that they get that right. And I'm sure that they are working on that process. If you're going to be able to challenge it, why not just use it? Why not have the home plate umpire be given that data? Put it on the big screen in the stadium where the umpire's looking at it in the screen. Say, all right, that one just rang green, that's a strike. That one rang red, ball. However you want to do it. I also think at this point, the way that the batting averages are dropping, it will increase a little bit of offense because now you have to either throw it in the strike zone or you're going to put a guy on base. You're going to walk him, and it'll increase a little bit more traffic on the base paths. I, as an old school baseball fan, I have a hard time saying that I would be okay with an automated strike zone. But, man, I saw Jack Swinski of the Pirates get called out on 2 strikes a week ago that were inches. It wasn't borderline. It was inches below the strike zone. And the Pirates manager got thrown out. So we had that entertainment hunter. We had our manager come out and go nuts, and he gets tossed. And then the next pitch, Swinski strikes out. So that didn't fuel the team. They didn't get the third run. They lost the game 5-2. And at that point, it would have been 5-3 with another batter coming to the plate. And so it's at this point, if we're doing so much with technology to get things right, and it's been a slow rollout where first it was only replay where I think on home runs was the original thing years ago. And now it's, you can challenge the base runners and fair and foul. Man, I'm starting to switch over. I'm not going to hate it if they don't ever implement it and they stick to what we know. But I can definitely, I'm not going to be banging the drum to keep the old umpires behind the plate.
Well, Scotty, you got to understand though that we got 32. We got I keep doing that. We've got 32 baseball teams, right? Or
30?
Which one?
30.
30.
We have 30 baseball teams, so we got 29 better examples of what teams are supposed to do in a game besides the Pirates. So I mean, let's not use the Pittsburgh Pirates as an example as to why we should change anything in baseball, because I'm just saying, like, you could do better. Like, I mean, you should White Sox.
You know what, B Live? I miss you from I miss the B Live that looked like Patrick Swayze at the end of Ghost. I missed that. I missed that B Live that looked like Patrick Swayze at the end of Ghost.
He's over here talking about Jack Sawinski. I'm like, man,
that's just one example.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
I just couldn't just let you just slide that in. Like, really, the Pirates.
It's a really valid
a lot of Pirate games. What can I say?
No, it's a valid like at bat, for example. Absolutely, yeah. But
I can't.
I think the irony of bringing up the Pirates is funny. That's what
I'm saying. Like,
I'm not saying anything else.
Oh, I agree with the 100% with the argument that he was making. I agree. I saw the validity behind his argument. I'm not going to just allow him I can't just allow him and agree with stuff.
So you don't think that was the balance of the Pirates season wasn't hanging on that one at bat by Jackson Winston?
Here's the thing. It's going to be interesting seeing what the Pirates do, because I was looking at the wild card standings, and y'all been making a little bit of moves the past 10 games. Past 10 games in all of baseball. Guess who's the hottest team in baseball? It's the Pirates. Yeah,
and they did win 3 in a row against the lowly White Sox. So I'm not exactly jumping up and down over that. But if you're a good team,
here we go again. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, Eddie. I was going to let that one slide.
Okay.
I wanted to.
Okay.
I really. Oh boy.
Why are you White Sox fan today?
I'm not.
Anyways, so
be grateful you're not, I guess. Terrible.
They stink.
God awful.
So when it comes to the automated strike zone, I'm going to say no. Just no. As I forgot who it was in the choice. Was it Matty Ice? As he said earlier, strike zones are subjective. Let's kind of bounce it around a little bit. You guys, you know this guy here. We got Tony Clark, or we had Tony Clark at 9 feet tall. No, Tony Clark was a big dude.
Yeah.
Then you have Jose Altuve, who's a relatively short guy. So if you have the automatic strike zone, does it stay in one place, or does it determines due to the height and size of the player?
No, they would have to do it based on the height and size of the player. You can't have Aaron Judge and my niece having the same strike zone. You can't. You have to adjust that, and that's where the imperfection comes. No, that's something they would have to do, I think, before the season starts. That you have to have an exact dimension prepared for every player even down to the AAA level. So if they come up, you're ready for that. Because, and one of the things I argued against in my previous argument was if the outside of the ball nicks the outside of the, like, how thick is the line going to be on this automated strike zone? Yeah. But, we still always traditionally have said, well, the ball is close. It's on the black. It's on the black part of the plate. It's on the outside corner. So you have to protect it. Well, this will even shrink it a little bit more. I guess even if the baseball is primarily outside of that, if a thread nicks that, it's going to be called a strike, and that's just the way we'll have to live with that. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. But I think it will help offensively because baseball right now is hard. It's strikeouts and homers, a lot of it right now. That's a lot. The league's batting under 240 or at 240, whatever it is right now. It's low. And like I said last week, you thought it would be getting better because you got rid of the shift. Another silly rule that baseball made up, but one that's intended to provide a little bit more offense. I mean, baseball is supposed to be a better product right now, but offensively, you're either seeing homers or strikeouts. I mean, a lot of strikeouts and guys throwing harder than ever, just trotting out one guy who's thrown upper 90s after another from the 7th inning on. It's just it doesn't make for an exciting watch.
Yeah, just like I said, like I just think it's subjective. Like I said, Tony Clark, Jose Altuve, how are you going to do it? And with that being said, Scotty D, what's on tap for 2 weeks from now? Because we will be taking a break for the choices of the voices.
Okay, so we will be coming back in 2 weeks. We are going to take a break, and we're going to be coming back just a few days after the Summer Olympics will have begun. And so I'm going to ask, when you think Olympic hero, who do you think of? Probably all of us are thinking Kurt Angle.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, we're thinking your Olympic hero, Kurt. But yeah, it could be your answer if you want. But if you thinking when you're thinking some of the heroes of the Olympics past, who comes to mind? And that'll give us something to talk about in 2 weeks. Eddie, cool.
Which means y'all got plenty of time to give us an answer. With that being said, be live. Go on and grab that pepper grinder. Coming up next, we got a round of pepper right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, y'all heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style. Kind of, sort of, not really, here to engage, enlighten, educate, and entertain. The 4 E's in no particular order. With that being said, I'll go first. On this day in history, back in 1909, the Detroit Tigers and the Washington Senators played the longest scoreless game in American League history. 18 innings at Bennett's Field in Detroit, Michigan. I didn't do my research to find out to see who won the game, but think about it. You played 9, 18. You played 2 baseball games and a 0-0. I'm ready for bed. That's a full day's work.
Should have put a runner on second in inning number 10.
I'm just saying, man, you got to do what you got to do, man. Over to you, Scotty D.
All right, so on Sunday in the Wimbledon finals, Carlos Alcaraz defeated Novak Djokovic, the Joker, in what was kind of a passing of the torch. Last year, similar result, but in a 5-hour, 5-set match. And this year, the Joker got swept out of there. It could be time that the greatest of all time is coming down the backside of the mountain. But I'll tell you, speaking of backside, he can kiss mine. Because in the previous match, he's taken on this guy, Rune. Yeah, you guys hear about this Rune guy?
No.
He's taking on Rune. And what was his first name? It doesn't matter because his name is Rune. Holger Rune. And the fans are cheering, Rune. They were cheering for him, Rune. And Djokovic was all upset because afterward he said they weren't yelling. They weren't just yelling Rune. They're yelling boo. They're being disrespectful to me. So what? How do you think Harrison Butker is going to get received on road games this year? You're allowed to cheer and boo because you're a fan who paid the ticket. So Joker, take that out of here. Be Live or Hunter, somebody over to you.
Be Live, over to you.
I was wondering how we were going to figure this out. With Hunter being on the show, Hunter's just here for reactions, and
I'll participate. I got a couple.
Oh, well, fine.
Yeah,
Hey,
good,
Hunter, do your thing.
I go
last.
No, go.
I go last.
Okay,
that is a rule.
Mine's not.
I said what I said.
So I'm gonna get into a statistical thing, kind of like what Eddie's doing. So we were talking about averages and hitting for baseball and all that stuff. The last team to score 1,000 runs in a season, which keep in mind is over 6 runs a game, was, believe it or not, the Cleveland Indians in 1999. So on that team, you had guys like Roberto Alomar, Kenny Lofton, and Manny Ramirez.
Wow.
That was a strong team.
That was a strong team.
Oh yeah.
There was 4 guys, I believe, to have over 100 RBIs in that season.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Killers.
All right. Well, I'm going to take it into the world of soccer because we just had the Copa America final this past week, and it's been in the United States, and where you got rabid diehard fans and whatnot. Well, see what happened in Charlotte. There was a heavy Colombia fan base in Charlotte where and it was a little overwhelming because Colombia beat Uruguay 1-0, and
I picked that score.
The Colombia fans were enjoying life and celebrating and everything, and giving the Uruguay fans were few and far between the business. So much to the point where the Uruguay players jumped into the stands to defend their fans and their loved ones. And there was a little bit of fracas going on in Charlotte, North Carolina. Eddy Cool, the ball.
You can do that over there, but you do it over here. You take your ass to jail.
Fracas. I love that choice of words.
Fracas. It is a noun. Fracas. All right. So that being said, my second pepper point. On this day in history, back in 1941, Joe DiMaggio goes 3 for 4, hitting in his 56th straight game. The Yankee Clippers, Scotty D, your guy, getting it done back in 1941, which I think is a record that will never, ever be broken. Over to you, Scotty D.
Yeah, speaking of soccer, the U.S. men's national team had to fire coach Greg Berhalter after a poor showing in whatever that tournament was that they just
Copa America.
Yeah, that one. And I tell you, it's really it's frustrating because Team USA is not living up to the level of excellence that we were used to in soccer. Somebody else, go ahead.
On this day, 1876, it was baseball's first official no-hitter. It was George Bradley of these names are a mouthful, the St. Louis Brown Stockings. They no-hit the Hartford Dark Blues 2-0.
Nice. For my second pepper point, we were literally just talking about how Derek White was picked on the USA basketball team over Jaylen Brown. We didn't mention of who he replaced on the team because Team USA decided, hey, and the Clippers decided, hey, Kawhi Leonard, you ain't really working out for us. You really didn't even play that much of the season. Remember I had that little rant that I had last week about this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Los Angeles Clippers president of basketball operations, Lawrence Frank, said that the team was very disappointed with USA basketball's decision to replace Kawhi Leonard. Are you kidding me? You're disappointed?
They wanted that.
This isn't real life, is it? Now the Clippers are disappointed that USA dropped Kawhi Leonard. You should be the happiest of everybody. So this man can rest so he can actually finish the season. Eddy Cool, the ball.
Don't peel on our legs and tell us it's raining.
Right.
Yeah. All right, my third and final pepper point. In the words of Scotty D, this comes from the Do Better playlist. For the second time, Jordan Addison has been behind the wheel, drunk and arrested, and he gets another DUI. And the article goes as follows on the Associated Press. Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison has been arrested in California on suspicion of drunk driving for the second straight year. he has found trouble behind the wheel right before the beginning of training camp. The Vikings said Monday they're aware of the incident and gathering information, but had no further comment. You know what? I'm just going to stop reading right there. There has to come a point in time that, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be drinking behind the wheel. You know what? I might make enough money where I need to hire car service. And you know what? I just lost a teammate recently. I don't remember if she was drunk driving, but you got to think the fact that this is year number 2, you're doing this, and the second year should hit home because you just lost a teammate who was in a car accident. Now, I'm saying I don't remember if I didn't remember if the person hit his teammate was drunk or not, but think about it, like you're in a car and that's a potential that can happen. Jordan Addison, either put the liquor down or get some help or hire a driver. And with that being said, in the words of Scotty D, bruh, you have got to do better. Over to you, Scotty D.
Yeah, you got to take into consideration that a young wide receiver in a fatal automobile accident has happened recently. And look what happened to Henry Ruggs being in jail instead of training camp. All right. So a month ago, Rory McIlroy gave up the U.S. Open by missing a couple of short putts and handing the trophy over to Bryson DeChambeau. Probably his worst nightmare, handing over the trophy to the big goof. And whenever he could have locked in yet another major after 10 years. Well, we'll see. This week, Rory gets the chance to make that fairy tale ending at the British Open, which begins on Thursday. I got Rory finishing third behind Ludwig Oberg with the little silly symbol on the top of the A. And your winner, your 2024 Open Championship winner, Victor Hovland. Hunter, over to you.
Okay. In the NFL, out of the 8 players that were eligible to be franchise tagged, it has come to a close as T. Higgins did get franchise tagged. For the Bengals, he's due to make $21.8 million this year. Those names included like Josh Allen and L'Jarius Sneed. So that's finally closed. The Bengals now have a complete wide receiver core once again.
And a good one.
T. Higgins, you'll get the bag next year with a different team when you become an unrestricted free agent. All right, my third and final.
Come to Carolina.
We don't like the paper. Hey, you know what? I'm pay the man. I want that man to make his coin. Mm-hmm. Third and final pepper point. All right, just recently, with 20 seconds to go, you had New York versus Chicago in a basketball game. 20 seconds ago, New York's up 81-67. And with 20 seconds to go, you would normally either you go ahead and pull your starters. Game's pretty much over. Not going to make up 14 points in 20 seconds. Well, Chicago keeps on trying. And they try to get the ball to their all-star rookie that has not managed to score 10 points the entire game. And New York says, nope, we're not having this, and proceeds to quadruple team said rookie. We want to know what sport I'm talking about? I'm talking about the WNBA, and the New York Liberty denied Angel Reese of her 16th straight double-double. I'm going to say this as loud and with my chest out as much as I possibly can. If you cannot score 10 points in the entire game, there's only 20 seconds left, you don't deserve it. Thank you, New York Liberty, for doing this. I don't care how it went down. She didn't deserve it. The fact that they're still trying to feed her the ball, the fact that it's like, come on, bro. If you're trying to pat stat just to keep a streak running, it's not that you're taking away the actual value of the streak. Such an amazing accomplishment. 15 straight double-double games has not been done ever in the history of the WNBA. But if it's done in this cheap fashion and the way it ended, it took away all of the integrity from the streak. Chicago, Angel Reese. Angel Reese, you've had an incredible first season. I need you to develop a jump shot at some point in time because she has the most awkward form I've ever seen out of anybody playing. Do better. WNBA, all in all, do better. I don't even know what to like. Just it's the whole. I've tried.
It's always something with them.
It.
It's always something.
I tried. And I was like, it is so horrible to watch. Like even like half the 3-point shooters with their form is just like this. It's just like you're supposed to get a bend in the wrist and get a little with the rotate. No, it's just and in closing.
And in closing,
do something nice for yourself. And if you can do something nice for someone else, they're greatly appreciated now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden, and do not shoot the ball like Bill Cartwright. Good God Almighty. With that being said, it's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Shout out to Hunter for joining us. And everybody, y'all be good. Take care of yourself. Let's go watch a little bit of Monday Night Raw because Mommy's back and some home run derby, if you will. Goodbye. Good night. Y'all take care. Be live. You know what to do. Take us home.
R.I.P. Jacoby Jones.
Oh, my God. Yes. Oh, my God. Yeah. R.I.P. Jacoby Jones. So sad. Take us home. Be live.
Yep, I'm out of here. Yes, sir.
Oh, what a sad yes, sir.
Oh, my God.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Please hit the stop recording button. Please hit the stop recording.
Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all.
Hey, it's Eddy Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. Thank you for listening, and as always, continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just click the link in the description box and keep up with the Sports Bros Podcast. And once again, thanks for listening.